going on, people? Hope you are well. We are back. Welcome back to the channel. Got a few panelists with me today, and a couple that are late. Don will be joining us, and Husam will be joining us. They're literally just finishing up, and they will be on the stream. But welcome back into the house, Guni. What are you telling me, bro? You good?
Yeah, man, all good. Just waiting for the fireworks to all kick off for the January transfer window, if there are going to be any. Hopefully, we won't be signing kids this time, though.
Yeah, man. There's too many youngsters in your side, man. You need some experience now. But happy New Year to you, bro, because I haven't seen you yet.
Yeah,
So
man,
I hope it was
likewise.
good for you, man. Hope it was good for you. Aaron, back on the stream, back on the show. How are you, mate?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Happy New Year to the both of you. Good to be on. Transfer window's open, so yeah, I guess it's gonna be a mad one.
Yeah, it's going to be a mad one. That's what I'm going to start. I was going to start with Arsenal Liverpool, but Sam's late, so I'll bring him in when we'll talk about that once he's brought in. But let's start with you, Aaron, because Manchester United, there's always been rumours of players staying, players leaving, and players coming into the club. There's talk of Varane and Casemiro getting new contracts, Jadon Sancho being tipped with a move back to Borussia Dortmund, and you're being linked with some nice players such as Elise. So there's a lot going on in the world of Manchester United right now. But where I want to ask you first of all is where your head's at with the club and what you'd like to see happen in January to give you some kind of hope that you're at last going towards the right direction, bro.
So obviously, we've got a new. I don't even want to say part ownership. It's like a quarter ownership because it's 25%. Sergeant Ratcliffe and Ineos, his team, have come in. From what I've read online and the reports that we're seeing, is it said that for this January transfer window, no permanent transfers will be made, whether it's outgoing. Well, no, actually, no. Outgoing, something might happen. But incomings, I don't think any permanent transfers will happen. The word on the street is that we will only make loan signings. So it might be another situation where, just like last season, we might be bringing in a striker for 6 months, like we did with Weghorst. So the word on the street right now is that we're looking at Timo Werner and Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting, which are not the greatest options. I know it sounds funny. It sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. So we're literally, as fans, we're having to look at both profiles and go, I prefer him. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, this is where we're at the moment. So yeah, we're looking at loan signings because we can't make any permanent ones. I don't actually know if it's because of FFP or it's because Ineos want to start fresh in the summer and they don't really want to invest their money now. And who knows, maybe they want to start fresh in the summer with someone else in charge in terms of the managerial role. Like, we don't know. So that's the word on the street right now.
Man, Guni, music to your ears. Timo Werner in a Man United shirt.
Listen. First and foremost, I have to give my respect to Timo Werner because he actually did contribute to our Champions League win. So I will say that first and foremost. But at the same time, Timo Werner is not the answer to any club with any kind of ambition in terms of continually challenging and winning stuff. He's not that guy. At Chelsea, listen, he had his good moments, but those were more outweighed by more unreliable moments, like, for example, in front of goal, the amount of sitters this guy missed. And once this guy's confidence is shot, it's very, very difficult to get it back. And we had several of those in our team at the same time. Kepa was another one. Once his head drops, it takes maybe 3 or 4 games to get him to a level of confidence where you feel, okay, he can contribute to a game, he can contribute and actually do something. Timo Werner is of that same mold. So for him to be going to Manchester United, first of all, I don't know what role that they're going to play him in, whether they're going to play him out wide or whether they're going to play him down the middle. If they play him down the middle, they might find themselves in a circumstance that us and Liverpool to a lesser extent are facing. So what I mean by that is you're going to have a lot of Nicholas Jackson and a lot of Darwin Núñez moments where it should be a nailed-on goal, brilliant opportunity, but he's going to continue to miss them. And once he misses 1 or 2 of those chances, his head drops. his head completely drops. I don't understand why that's a target for Manchester United. I see similar profiles within that team already. For example, one case in point is Marcus Rashford. I don't really see too much difference between the two players, although I think Rashford is a little bit more refined than what Timo is. Not saying that he's the greatest player. Definitely not saying that he's the greatest player. I don't really rate Rashford like that. But in terms of if you are looking to play that transition, that counter type of football, these are the kind of players that you go for. But United are not doing that. They've got a manager that is more based on possession type football, and Timo Werner is not technical enough to be able to play that football. So for me, it makes no sense. Aaron mentioned Choupo-Moting. He's not really a player that I would go for either, but at least with this guy, I can say this, is that this guy has come clutch so many times for PSG. He's come clutch for Bayern as well. And he's not really rated that top player, but at least there's a sense of reliability there, and especially in important moments when you need somebody to pull you through. He's done it several times. Now, between the two players, I've said this about Jackson and Broya. You're either picking between a shit and a turd, bro. And you're a bit of a catch-22 situation. It's just like, well, I'm going to pick the lesser of two evils. And in my honest opinion, I think Choupo-Moting would actually be the safer option than what Timo Werner would be. That's just my opinion.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I look at Man United and I think, how many years now has it been that they are getting Igalos, that they're getting Falcaos, that they're getting even Ibrahimovic, who, to be fair, I'm never going to slate him, but you get my point. That it's like you should have got him 10 years ago. Do you know what I'm saying? Those type of strikers, go and just buy one. Man United have always had one of the best strikers. When you look over the years, when I grew up, it was obviously the Eric Cantona style. Then you had the Dwight York and Cole. Then you went into the stage of Van Nistelrooy. You had Solskjaer. You had players like Wayne Rooney that then come onto the scene. And I'm starting to think where that sort of quality has gone at Man United. And I just think the way you've been run, Aaron, is like just one of the things here now to add on to 5 or 6 other things that you could think of that are going wrong for Man United. And I just want to ask where you're at with Ten Hag and the ownership at the moment, because I've always been quite harsh on the ownership at Man United as an Arsenal fan, because I put it towards the fan base at Man United to say, are you happy with this ownership? Because, yeah, they spend loads of money, but look at what they spend it on. Look at how neglected they've left Manchester United. Look at how neglected they've left you without a sporting director. They've trusted Ten Hag to just go and buy his old Ajax players and just try and make it work with Evans and Maguire at the back. So for me, there's been a lot of problems with the ownership. But there's a lot that he's done coaching-wise, Ten Hag, that I'm like, what is going on here? So where's your head at, bro, with Man United right now?
In terms of the manager, I'm not going to sit here and scream Ten Hag out, but I do think there's a change needed because, on the coaching level, it's not been good enough in my opinion. He came in and we had a lot of expectations. I'm not going to lie. We had big expectations in terms of the football that we were supposedly going to play, because we all saw what he did at Ajax. We saw the philosophy that he implemented, and we saw the silky football that Ajax team played in 18-19. That they probably conquered everybody's hearts during that season. So in terms of the manager, I think it's time for a change. In my opinion, he's not delivered the way he was meant to, or the way he wanted to, maybe. A lot of money has been spent, and you mentioned it, Dan. The money is not the issue. It's how we spend it. And in recent years, yes, Husam, and in recent years, there are so many examples of us having the money, but spending it on the wrong people. And I'm not going to sit here and name you all the players that we spent, the wrong players that we spent the money on, because we'll be here all night. But there's just so many examples. And last season, I could have a bit of sympathy because I could go, you know what? Before last season started, I was like, you know what? If this season we don't play the football that we're meant to play, I can sympathize with the manager because he doesn't have the players that he wants. Fast forward 18 months later, I'm looking at the money spent. I'm looking at the players he brought in. I'm looking at what he required before he even came in. And I'm talking about the control that he wanted to have, because the talk was, if he doesn't have control over the transfers, if he doesn't have the last say on transfers, he's not coming in. The club gave him that responsibility. He came in, and look at the players that he brought in, first of all. And last season or during the course of the season, look at the players we're being linked with. They're all players that he's either coached back in the day, or they're players that he knows from what's it called? That he knows from mutual agents. Because a lot of players that we brought in, or some of the players that we brought in, are signed to his agency. So I'm kind of looking at that and I'm thinking that's very strange. That is very strange. And obviously, my biggest issue with Ten Hag is the way he handles certain situations with players. He contradicts himself a lot. He wants to rule with an iron fist, but he doesn't understand that it doesn't work with everybody. You can't do that. When you're managing a team, there's certain players that you just have to leave alone. You just tell them, listen, just do your thing. I can trust you. And I'm looking at the Casemiros, the Varans. Those are the type of players you don't really need to rule with an iron fist because they've been there, done that. So you don't really need to talk to them. There's players where you need to put an arm around because they can't take being criticized publicly, or you can't do that. Even Fergie used to do that. When Fergie wanted to speak to Ronaldo, he had to go at Rooney because he knew if he had to go at Ronaldo would start crying. So there's certain things that you have to know as a manager. You have to know how to talk to certain players. But Ten Hag came in and he just said, my rules and nothing else. But he doesn't get that not everybody adheres to those rules. Not everybody's going to follow those rules. And when you have an issue with him, he just freezes you out. Simple as that. There's no talking, no conversation. It's just literally, it could be the smallest of things, and he's going to make you feel his anger in the worst of ways. And I disagree with that.
Listen, I think you've said a lot there, which I agree with about Ten Hag. Because Sam, big up, man. Happy New Year. Thanks for jumping on, my bro. Good to see you as
Happy
always.
New Year, you guys. Apologies for being late. I was just helping my mom out to something. Big up Guni, Aaron. Big up Don. Big up to you, Dan, as well.
Big up.
Everyone in the chat as well, you guys. And Happy New Year to all of you as well.
Yeah, man, you too. Don, likewise, bro. Cheers for jumping on, man. I know you were rushing back, so I appreciate you jumping on as well, bro.
No stress, man. No stress. Yeah, big up the panel, man, and big up the chat. It'll be a good show.
Nice one, man. Nice one. Listen, let's let you have your say, Husam, because obviously we're talking quickly on Man United and some of the links that they've had. Elise being linked on a good side, but don't look like that's going to happen. And obviously, Choupo-Moting and Timo Werner, the ones that Aaron's just been talking about and clearly not happy about. What's your position as a Liverpool fan, man, on Man United? Because there's only so much laughing you can do right now, in my opinion. It's actually got to a stage where it's become a bit of a joke, to be fair, at the club, right? And I don't know, I just feel like the ownership and Ten Hag is all wrong. And even January and a summer window can't save them. I just think they're literally rip it up and start again. And I was calling out the owners not long ago at Arsenal. Man United fans, what are they feeling like, man? So where you at, man? What do you see happening at United, bro?
I mean, first of all, speak for yourself. And then you say you can only do so much laughing. I will always laugh at United. That is my biggest rival right there. I'll never stop laughing at them furthermore. That's a club I absolutely despise. But the links that have come up this January is just an absolute joke, to be honest with you. The fact that the link to Choupo-Moting, honestly, like, it's just, I don't even know what to say. That's just embarrassing. Like, that's just, honestly, like, sometimes you see certain stuff, you're like speechless. Like, Choupo-Moting, are you serious? And then you look at the other guys like Timo Werner, like, oh, did you guys watch him at Chelsea for 2 years? Like, it's just, if I'm Jim Ratcliffe right now, I'm telling Man United, do not spend a single penny until I figure out what actually is wrong at the football club, because I feel like there's just too much wrong right now. I think Ten Hag is costing his team points, both off the pitch and on it. I mean, the game that we just watched against Nottingham Forest, first half was a snooze fest, make no mistake, but Man United looked solid, at least to an extent. Like, Nottingham Forest didn't really trouble them. And then Erik Ten Hag proceeds to take off Kobe Mainoo and replace him with Scott McTominay, which I think is the worst substitution probably this whole year. I've never seen a manager essentially lose a game via one substitution like that, like in that game, because he just removed all defensive solidity from the team. There was no shape, no structure. I think if you give Eriksen, McTominay, and Bruno to Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp as a midfield trio, it would still fail, because that midfield trio just has zero balance whatsoever. And that's exactly how they conceded both goals. The Dominguez goal and the Gibbs-White goal were both cutbacks, because there was just a donut hole in front of their defense. There was just no one there. Ten Hag is to blame for losing them points like that. And with the transfers that have been made. Look, I believe he's probably one of the managers post Ferguson that's had one of the strongest power at Man United. Like he wanted Anthony, he got him. He wanted Onana, he got him. He wanted Mount, he got him. All the kind of signings that he's made, the friends and family project, either Dutch people or people who speak Dutch or people who's played in the Dutch league. Even Mason Mount, the rumor was he liked him when he was at Vitesse. Binder, I thought
He did.
yeah, and here's the fucked up part, right? Binder, the Turkish goalkeeper, I actually thought that, like, okay, Ten Hag's finally signed someone out of the box. And I go back and I look, and it was a goalkeeper he was linked with when he was at Ajax. So I was like, yo, this is just like, I don't know what trying to like, imagine I become Liverpool manager and I just sign Guni, Dan Potts, Don, and Aaron. I'm like, yo, let's do this, guys.
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of when back in the day when Harry Redknapp used to go everywhere and sign Nico Crancher. Every single club.
Yeah.
What was it? Tottenham, Portsmouth.
Jermaine Defoe as well.
Jermaine Defoe. He signed them everywhere.
Crouchy and Defoe up front, Nigel Quasi in midfield, Cranch It's so true, man. It's so true. But I'm with you, Sam. I'll be saying, do not let him spend another penny until I get somebody like Dan Ashworth or Paul Mitchell in who actually can look at trying to do something together with a plan, because this plan has not worked. And look at the money you've spent again, man. I'll come to you, Don, lastly, before we move from Man United, because I feel like there's a lot to be done. I wanted to ask you this question. A lot of people are laughing at Chelsea. A lot of people are laughing at Man United. Where are you at on the ownership of both, though? Because there's a lot of people that will say, yeah, but look how much money's being spent. I don't think that's the question, because look at the amount of money both teams are spending, right? But where are you at right now? Because Man United don't seem to have a plan. Chelsea do seem to have a plan that ain't really being executed right now. Where are you at with the ownership of both clubs?
Do you know what? For me, like, there's a few signings that the new ownership have made that I like. Like, you've got your Enzos, you've got your Badia Shield. Obviously, you've got the young players as well, like Caicedo that we saw. Obviously, Cole Palmer, I was happy for it. But one thing that I'll say is that they're a little bit too extreme on like the young players. Because as much as these young players, I rate them, you still need experience around them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm 26, yeah. So I've always grown up watching grown, experienced men playing for Chelsea. Do you know what I'm saying? Your Cahills, your Drogbas, your Lampards, real men. Do you get what I'm saying? And right now, it's like, you're picking out all these young players, but they need to learn from players. Yeah, they need guidance. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, even the other day when we played against Luton, you can see why experience is important. Because if we didn't have Thiago Silva that game, bro, we lose. We probably even lose that game. We don't draw, we lose that game. Do you know what I'm saying? So what I would say is that there's quality in this team. I like some of the young players that they've brought in, but it should have been mixed and blended in with experience is what I would say with our owners. But it's not too late. They've only been here, just over a year. They can definitely rectify mistakes that they've made. They're going to have to anyway, like January and going forward. They can't be that stupid to keep going on and buying these young players. They're going to have to bring in some experience. So I'm not going to overly criticize them as of yet, because I've done enough of that and it's not going to change the situation. But I just expect them to have learned from this mistake that they've made, because we signed way too many inexperienced players. Do you know what I mean? That's the main thing that I'm looking at. What was the other question about United? Sorry, United's owners.
Just in terms of both ownerships, where you at with Chelsea's and United's?
Yeah. Boy, I mean, look, United are going to have to go down a completely different route now, innit? Because over the years, what they've done is they've always attracted top players with money, right? With wages, big wages. Even though they haven't got a clear plan for them, they just like the big names. Do you know what I mean? Now they're going to have to go away from that, because let's be real. If you're a smart footballer these days, you ain't going to want to go to United. Like, when I'm seeing the Olise links, I'm looking at it like, bro, whoever's around this guy, better tell him, like, listen, don't do it, Michael. Michael, don't go there. Because even when they were linked to Jadon Sancho, I was like, because I really like Jadon Sancho, innit? This guy was one of the top players in Europe, like top young players in Europe at the time. And when he was linked to United, I said, this guy's going to go ruin his career. They're going to sell him a dream the same way they sold a dream to Pogba, and they're going to ruin his career. So right now, it's like United, honestly, smart footballers aren't going to be attracted to going over there, because they can see what's happened to X amount of people, like Aaron's been saying. I was listening to you guys before, yeah? So now they're going to have to go down a completely different route. I know it's big Man United, but you're not playing and looking like big Man United. You haven't been run like big Man United for a long time. So now you're going to have to go down the route of buying players that no one really knows about like that. You have to do research on them. Players that before United wouldn't even look at, even down the manager route as well. You might have to humble yourself and go down the Graham Potter route. I've got my reservations about him. I don't think he's the guy for the job. but you're gonna have to like humble yourself and realize where you are as a club right now. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think United, they need to completely change how they've been operating in terms of going for the big names, giving the big wages, and now just humble themselves and put together a squad that can actually do something. Do you know what I mean? That's actually got players that want to play for the badge, not players that just want to be there for the money, or players that just want to be there because, oh yeah, I'm playing for Man United. They actually want to do something with their career. Do you know what I mean? So, and that comes with a lot of due diligence, man. You need to look at these players before you bring them in. I feel like United, they've struggled to do that over the years with a lot of the players that they've brought in, you know, and they've just gone and signed big names. So yeah, they've got a lot of things to do, man. Like right now, as a United fan, it's long. I know Chelsea have got things to do, but I feel like we're just a little bit closer to getting it right than them, in my opinion, because we've got a lot of good players that a lot of people here would take. But when I look at United, bro, I feel like they just need a whole overhaul, man. They need a whole overhaul over there. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what I would say with them, man.
And a lot of people failed to, not just people, but a lot of United fans failed to understand what you just explained, Dan. Like when you said that, you know, we need to, the smart footballers nowadays, they're not going to come to Manchester United. They're not going to come to this club. And a lot of United fans fail to understand it. And that's why they'll blame, I hear, you know, the blame for, you know, on the Glazers and whatnot. I hear that. But for certain players not coming to Manchester United, that's not on the Glazers. I still hear till this day, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted Haaland. He didn't get Haaland. The Glazers gave him Igalo. No, he wanted Haaland. Yes. He flew to Austria, sat down with his dad. They had a talk. Yes. But ultimately, Haaland spoke to his dad, and his dad said, for your development, Man United, nah, let's go to Dortmund. That's all it was. Same for Jude Bellingham. Did he come to Carrington? Did he have a tour of Old Trafford with Fergie? Yes, he did. But did he talk to his entourage, and did they say to him, listen, let's go to Madrid? Absolutely. That's not on the Glazers. So when I hear people say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted Haaland and the Glazers gave him Igalo, Ten Hag wanted Bellingham, or the club wanted Bellingham and they gave him Eriksen. No, the club wanted to sign Eriksen because Ten Hag instructed them to do so. Bellingham went to Real Madrid because he thought that for his development, it's better to go elsewhere. So I fully agree with what Dan is saying. And a lot of United fans need to understand that when certain players don't come to the club, it's not because the Glazers don't want to spend money on them. The money's there. Like I said, the money is there. We just spend it on the wrong players. If players don't come, it's because they don't want to come. And they see, especially young players, they think that their development is better elsewhere. And so far, all of the players that have declined us, they've been proven right. Jude Bellingham is shelling it at Real Madrid, and Haaland, we all know what he's gone on to do. So they've all been right so far. So we can't blame the Glazers for that.
And Jadon Sancho is a perfect example of what happens when you go to United as a young player. Do you know what I'm saying? And the irony of it is he picked the right club to go to initially from Man City. And then obviously he got gassed by the 350 that got thrown in his face. I know it's life-changing money, but honestly, as a footballer, like especially if you're up and coming and you're gonna become world class if you go down the right trajectory, money will come, fame will come. Do you know what I mean? There's no need to just rush into it and say, "Oh, you've seen the bag, let me just go there." Because end of the day, Sancho's wasted 3 years of his career. I know, not everything's a club. Like you got to put some responsibility on the player because there's certain games where Sancho's not doing well and whatnot. But honestly, bro, like the way you lot brought him in, I thought you were gonna build around him, and you just didn't. You just didn't. You know what I'm saying? You did not build around that guy. For him to even want to go and work with a guy like Oli, bro, like it was the money, man. The money and people around him just didn't tell him to do the right thing. Do you know what I'm saying? That's why you've got to have guys like this. Is why you got to have Jude Bellingham's mum in your corner, man. You know what I'm saying? She don't look like she messes about. You got to have someone like that in your corner. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's a perfect example there, man.
And it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it's just a matter of time at this point. When he signs for Dortmund, he's going to play Champions League football. He's going to play in the league and whatnot. He's gonna go absolutely crazy over there. Like it's familiar territory for him. Some of the teammates that he used to playing with, some of the teammates he used to play with are still at the club. People like Royce, people like Emre Can. Like he's gonna go back to his old mates. They're gonna welcome him back with open arms, and he's just gonna feel so comfortable that he's gonna find the confidence back and do what he used to do before he came to United. So listen, young players need to be smart at this point. What we need to go and get right now, we need to go and get hungry players. That's why when we got linked to that, and don't get me wrong, I've never seen this guy play. I'm always honest when we get linked to players and I've never seen them play. I'm honest. I don't try and waffle. What's this guy named? Zambrano? Is that his name? Zambrano? the guy that we got linked with, and even I think even Bournemouth put in a bid today or something.
Oh yeah, the Ecuadorian guy in the middle.
Ecuadorian kid, yeah, he's meant to
yeah,
be the new Caicedo or something. I was like, listen, if he's hungry enough, all right, cool, be my guest, no worries. As long as the kid's hurting, I know them man are hungry. Like the guys that come from over there, the South American people, they're hungry. So I think those are the type of Oscar Zambrano. Yeah, thanks for the comment. Those are the type of people we need to go for. And yeah, man. But I think ultimately, and I've said this before the ownership even was announced, the new ownership, I said that they will come in with their own people. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they either get rid of him at the end of the season, or if results don't go our way, they'll just pull the plug. They will pull the plug immediately. And obviously, there's the Potter talks. I'm just like that. And I've got my reservations on Potter. But if he comes in, I'm not going to be like, no, I don't want it. Because listen, beggars can't be choosers. So we have to accept what we are and who we are at the moment. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. Listen, pure facts what you're spitting. Listen, I want to do Arsenal Liverpool because it's absolutely a massive game. But let's quickly touch on some links for Chelsea quickly because Guni, last time you were on, bruv, you were you weren't happy, man. Let's just say that.
He's never a happy bunny when I tune in, man.
What can happen in January to at least put a smile on your face, bro?
Well, I've been telling you for the longest about the Victor Osimhen situation. Probably since I don't know, like September. That I was confident that Chelsea would do a deal perhaps in January for a deal to happen in the summer, and it looks like now we are going down that trajectory. Surprise, surprise. Personally, I think that's definitely a good move. You already know that I'm definitely not a fan of either two of the options that we deploy as strikers at Chelsea Football Club. So that would definitely be a huge positive. Apparently as well, we're going to be looking at another centre back and apparently another left back as well. Now, the centre backs that we've been linked with, once again, they're very young players, but there's one who I feel might be a bit of an exception to the rule in terms of his ability being, a bit wise beyond his years. And that's Diomande at Sporting Lisbon. He's a player that last season my mate Darko said keep an eye on him, and I definitely have. He is a player that I definitely love to see at Chelsea Football Club. I'm not Axel Disasi's biggest fan, I'll be real. So if he's to be able to step in and replace him and to be able to, start in that defense, I'm not against it. In terms of the left back position, we already know Ben Chilwell is very, very injury prone. You cannot rely on injury prone players. Yeah, and Chelsea's past 2 seasons have just been plagued with injuries, and we need to start moving away from that. Cucurella as well. Even when he's not injured, he's not really performing as consistently as he needs to perform at Chelsea Football Club. Not to say that he's had all rubbish games. He's had a few where he's been solid, arguably man of the match, but that's just not good enough for Chelsea level. We need consistency. We need to go back to those days of them Branislav Ivanovic's and them kind of performances where week in, week out, you're guaranteed at least a 7 out of 10. So it'll be interesting to see who Chelsea will be looking at as a left back option, because I strongly believe that maybe we need more than one. We need 2, because I know Cucurella, he's pretty much on his way out. On the last day of the transfer window, he was supposed to be going over to Manchester United, but the deal fell through. So he's a player that's not looking to stay. But I don't know how much business that you can really do in January. I know with Chelsea, again, we're a bit of an exception to the rule. Enzo Fernandez, £105 million last January. So anything can happen with us. Anything can happen with us. But I really, really do think we need to start focusing on key priority areas. One of them, especially being for me, is the goalkeeper situation. Yes, Petrovic has put in 2 or 3 good performances, but that's just it for me. 2 or 3 good performances. Sanchez, for me, has never been that guy. He's never been good enough. I don't want him at Chelsea. I want us to sign a top quality goalkeeper. Striker situation has been addressed, yes. And in terms of wingers, I still think we need to be looking at options and sending a couple out of the door. That's just my opinion. But who knows? You already know the transfer window is the most erratic thing. We can wake up tomorrow and we can see Chelsea have bid 100 and something million for this guy or for that guy. But please, Chelsea, outside of Diomande, I need players that are post 25 years old. that have some kind of seniority and the experience as well. Because like I say, experience is subjective, because you can be 22, 23 years old and you could have played at every part of top level football that there is to play, Kylian Mbappe and so on and so forth. But please, we need those profile of players. I'm tired of the experiment. I'm tired of the development that's going to be done at Chelsea Football Club, when realistically, we should not be a development club. That shouldn't be what we are. Yes, it's okay to have a couple that are there on the sidelines mixed with that level of experience that I've been talking about. But to field a team where 80% of it, 70% of it is unproven talent and they're still kind of learning their trade, it leads us to where we are. And I also need to say, I hope to God that this is the final transfer window for this recruitment team. This recruitment team, Paul Winstanley and whoever the other geezer is at Chelsea Football Club, need to go. I am tired of them. And not even just for the selection of players that they choose, but even when it comes down to the financial aspect of it. How many times do we hear Bedadig Bali has had to get on his private plane and fly over to Portugal to seal the deal? Bedadig Bali has had to go down to Brighton to seal the deal. We don't need that. We need somebody who's competent that can A, identify players, and B, get the deals over the line without spending the majority of the transfer window trying to hustle and bustle over players. That needs to stop.
Let me ask you a question on fullbacks, Guni, yeah, because for me, I think this is a big priority for us, isn't it? Like left back, Cucurella, long term, I'm not too sure on him. Ben Chilwell, I think we need to get rid of him, in my opinion. I don't think he can play how we need to play going forward. Other side, you've got Reece James. Obviously, when he's playing, we know how good he is, but the guy's never fit. And then you've got Gusto, who I'm happy with, but we can't depend on him every single game, innit? So what about someone like Kyle Walker-Peters, bro? Because we was linked to him in the summer. He can play on both sides. And obviously Southampton, they're in the Championship. I haven't watched them at all. I think I watched only their first game when Lavia was still there. But apart from that, bro, like apparently he's been playing well this season, man. And he's someone that I didn't really like him at Spurs. But after that, bro, at Southampton, he improved a lot. And like I said, he can play both sides, very similar to Gusto when it comes to building up. And one-on-one as well, he can hold his own. So would you consider someone like him realistically for January?
Now, Kyle Walker-Peters is somebody, I think it was even in the summer previous, where I said, I wouldn't mind having him as an option, but not as our main guy to be solidifying that position week in, week out. But in terms of to have an option in the squad, of course, the massive uptick to this is the fact that he can play either side and he looks comfortable. But for me, I'm looking at players like Theo Hernandez over there at AC Milan. Although this guy, he's more used as a wing back, I have seen him play left back. But I do like that Riquelme guy at Atletico Madrid as well. I think he's very talented. There's a couple other names that are just kind of escaping my head at the minute. But
I like the guy at Bournemouth, man. I like the left back at Bournemouth, man. Forgot his name. I always forget his name. What's that guy's name, man? But every time I've watched him, he's impressed me, man. But
just DeMarco as well, because Inter have financial issues and they need to get rid of players. And DeMarco is definitely somebody that I would consider taking as well. I think he's quality in terms defensive wise. He's solid. Also, we can contribute to an attack as well. He's got a mean left foot on him. He can score some goals as well. So I think getting players of that quality is going to take us in the right direction. I complain a lot. I know I complain a lot, but my thing is that I just want to take us back to a standard where we're competing on all fronts and it's sustainable for the next however many years, where we're going to stay in and around that conversation of winning titles, getting to Champions League finals and winning them, FA Cups, all of that stuff. That's all I want for Chelsea.
Facts.
Yeah, absolute facts, man. And Sam, before we come on to our preview for Sunday, you got absolutely roasted. Can't lie. The last time that we were on a stream talking Chelsea, and it must be quite nice for you now to sit there top of the league and look at things in Chelsea's direction as not going as well. Caicedo and
Lavia. I wasn't invited to this roasting. What happened?
No. It wasn't on this channel. It was on Matisse. Me, you, Matisse. I can't remember who was there now. It was a long time ago, man, when that had happened. But Chelsea, Pochettino, the players, the owners, where are you pointing the fingers, man?
I mean, it's funny. We were talking about, what's his name? The Zambrano kid. Aaron called him the next Caicedo. The original Caicedo ain't playing that well, to be fair. Probably made his biggest career mistake. I know he can't sleep at night because you'll be thinking he should be top of the league right now. But anyway, Yeah, I think we're probably laughing more now. You know, we're just
Is that before you land your point? Yeah, do you think that Caicedo is still playing like the way he was against West Ham right now?
Facts. Good question.
Do you think that?
I think Caicedo's underperformed, and I think we're babying Chelsea.
No.
saying
Don't answer it like an MP. Answer what I'm asking. No.
Listen,
I
Don,
ask you a simple question:
Don,
Is Caicedo
Don, you've
performing
worked
the
with
way
me
he
enough.
was
You
when
know
he
I ain't
first
no
came to
MP.
Chelsea?
I don't do politically correct answers. I just say what I think. And
You
with
said,
Chelsea,
"Well, I think he's underperforming," but you didn't answer my question. How is he playing at the moment?
Don, you know what? You know why I find Chelsea fans like you funny? Because you guys are 10th and you speak like you're top of the league and you're dominating week in, week out. The way you speak about some of these players.
I don't get that logic.
So Enzo ain't underperforming. Caicedo ain't underperforming. Palmer is a star boy. Jackson ain't that bad. Thiago Silva is a good centre back. Reece James is fantastic when he plays. Petrovic is a very good goalkeeper. So why are you 10th then?
No, listen, I cannot listen. Number one, the fact of the matter is we've missed the most big chances. That's number one. Number two, our manager is a joker, and this is the guy that I wanted, but he's been moving.
So you just contradicted yourself. Point 1, point 2.
How have I contradicted myself? I'm giving you reasons as to why we're 10th.
The third most big chances.
That's because in certain games he set us up correctly, and like I said, in certain games we've had chances which these players should be burying. But that doesn't take away the fact that he's been playing guys out of position. Two things can be right at once. Do you know what I'm saying? And at the same time, owners have spent money on a lot of inexperienced players. So it's
I agree with that. I think the inexperience is what's killing you right now. I think Chelsea, the only way to fix them is to just sign 3 30-year-olds. I'm not even taking the piss. I just think they need people who are level-headed, experienced players who've just been there and not even necessarily done that. Just players who are Premier League experienced, like a James Milner type player who ain't even necessarily the best player on the pitch, just does a job and just helps the team out, to be honest with you. Just helps these youngsters out. I feel like there's too many youngsters, too many young kids trying to like adapt and improve at the same time. I completely agree with Guni's point. I feel like with the money spent, those two positions right there are probably priority positions on the pitch in terms of goalkeeper and striker, 100%. Because whenever you watch Chelsea, it's not like they're crap and they're getting dominated and they play like shit. Like they're actually playing well. Most of the games, they create a lot of chances, but their forward line is just not burying them chances. We spent all year mocking Nicholas Jackson, and I think the real fraud in that Chelsea attack is Broya. I feel like, you know, I dislike Chelsea, but I apologize to all Chelsea fans for having to watch that guy right there. I've never seen a forward not being able to do a single thing properly on the football.
Let me just say something. Yeah, you see, when I go watch that guy live, yeah, I've been to the bridge a couple of times, even away this season. Yeah, bro, like you know, he's a tool guy.
I'm sorry.
You know, there's certain things that don't get caught on camera. Yeah, when you're actually at the game, innit, right? This guy is not even jumping anymore. He doesn't jump anymore. Like he gets on the ball and then he doesn't know what to do in the next phase of play.
So done.
His touch is just bobbly everywhere. And it's a shame because before the ACL, he was playing all right and Graham Potter wasn't giving him a chance. Do you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, after this now, it seems like his confidence is completely gone. And right now, as Chelsea fans, we haven't got the patience for him and Jackson, bro. We haven't.
I want them both gone.
I hear what you're saying. No, that's fair, Guni. Even if you want Jackson gone, he's also underperformed. Like I'm just saying Broya's next level of underperforming. That was my only point. But with Chelsea, look, I don't necessarily think, and I know I've probably been defending Pochettino all year long because I think Pep Guardiola would fail with this team. I think Jurgen Klopp would fail with this team. I think the best managers in the world would fail with this team because it's just no experience whatsoever. And the funny part is most Chelsea fans been asking for Thiago Silva to go, who's the only experienced guy right now currently active and playing week in, week out, which is like, I feel like you need experience. You need players who have been there, done that. I just think it's just too many youngsters all at the same time because youngsters are mostly confidence players and players who need time. Like obviously Enzo ain't this bad. Caicedo ain't this bad. Hold that Caicedo, but he ain't that bad. You know, the other youngsters you've signed, you ain't like they all not that bad. You know, they're not 10th place bad. But I think it's the whole environment. The fact that the average age of the squad is 13 doesn't help anyone. You need people who are there to help out the team, to give them experience. And Guni was 100% spot on. Those two positions right there, if you spend money, those are the two positions you must like keep it as a priority. Because you need someone in net who gives confidence to the four in front of him, and you need someone in up top to finish all the chances you're creating. So all this Palmer creativity, Enzo's forward passes, the wingers creating chances, and it's just there's no real goal threat consistently every game for Chelsea. Like, so even Palmer can't even be in his creative bag a lot because there's just no one there reliable and trustworthy enough to put the ball in the back of the net for them. So I think even if you get a player, not necessarily even the best footballer around, let's say someone like a Vlahovic, who maybe isn't the most technically gifted player, but he can put the ball in the back of the net. That's kind of what Chelsea need, low-key, I think.
You know what, Husam? Yeah, like you make some good points, yeah, and like, well, I want to touch up on the experience factor because end of the day, I agree with you. We should have had more experience in this team, but this team right now, yeah, especially even on paper, looking at some of these players, they are a lot better than what's being showed right now. Do you know what I'm saying? If you look at players like Levi Colwill, this was one of the best young left centre backs, yeah, in the Prem last season. Yeah, the way he used to just punch it out from the back. Dan, I'm sure you probably remember that performance he put out at the Emirates. Yeah, Levi. My boy literally messaged me saying, "Yo, who's this Colwill guy?" Say, you know, he plays for Chelsea. He couldn't believe it because of how good he played. But this season, he's been used incorrectly. He's been used at left back mainly for height, but then we still concede headers. We still concede set pieces. You know, you've got Enzo playing in the 10. You had Ben Chilwell wasting time at left wing. You had Disasi at right back against Brentford. You play Madueke in front of him. Every time he got on the ball,
say the same thing that you just say now, exactly the same. But go on.
Do you know what I'm saying? So, end of the day, as much as these guys are young, you got to create a good enough, easy environment for them to play in and play well, right? And Poch hasn't been doing that. He's been overcomplicating things and making it very hard for them. Do you know what I'm saying? So, as much as I agree with you, yes, we need more experience. I've got to look at how the manager's been using the team. And the main reason why I wanted Poch out of all the managers that we were linked to at the time, like Nagelsmann, Hansi Flick and that, is the fact that he's got a proven record of developing young players like a Luke Shaw or Nathaniel Klein at Southampton.
Yeah, but all of them need developing now. That's the problem.
No, but
so you've got 50 youngsters that all need developing. That's why you need experience.
Let's not act as if Levi Cole was never played in the Prem before. Let's not act like Caicedo's never played.
No, but
in the Prem.
That's not what I'm asking. Do you think Badiashile is a good centre back?
I do think it's a good centre back. Yeah.
Okay. If Badiashile in a theoretical world moved to Liverpool, and he's got Van Dijk around him, Konate around him, Gomez around him, and Matip around him with experience, do you think that's an environment more conducive for success for Badiashile individually?
Yeah.
If you're
of course. No, but you're
the environment is youngster, and they're all looking around for help. But everyone you're looking at also needs help.
But Husam, I don't disagree with what you're saying. Everything that you're saying, I agree with it. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, this is the reality of the situation. We are in the situation working with young players. Therefore, you need to make it as easy as possible for them. That's why at the start of the season, I was literally saying the chance creation, the chances that we create for attackers are not clear cut. They only became clear cut when Cole Palmer came into the team. And then what happened with Poch at the time? Poch, he's the guy that links us from midfield to attack. When Cole Palmer first came in, he wasn't starting games. His first start came against Brighton because he kept persisting with Gallagher and Ben Chilwell on that left wing. He wasn't trying to start Cole Palmer. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's been solutions there for this manager, but he hasn't been brave enough to use them, is the point that I'm making. So you're spot on with what you're saying, but this manager hasn't been good enough at the same time, is the point that I'm making.
He's made mistakes, but he's not the culprit. I think Todd Bowley and the way the club is run is the main culprit.
He knows what he walked into. He knows what he walked into, bro. Listen, end of the day, yeah. If you go out, if you're talking to a girl that does OnlyFans, yeah. If you get in a relationship with her, you can't now complain that what you're doing OnlyFans, get off of OnlyFans. No, it's the same thing, bro. You know what you walked into, yeah. Pochettino knew the caliber of players he'll be working with and the young players he'll be working with and the route that these owners are going down and the fact that he wouldn't have that much control. He signed up to this job. Yeah, and he took a long time to pick the job.
I've never said that he hasn't signed up for this job.
But the point,
he signed up for this job.
And if you ask Guni, he took a long time to make the decision to come to Chelsea. So he knows exactly what he walked into. What I've been hearing a lot from Pochettino is excuses, one thing after another. Oh, we lost in Cuckoo, so now we've got to change everything. Oh, this guy got injured, so we've got to change everything. No, your job is you're a manager. You need to manage the situation. You're paid millions a year. And at the end of the day, we've actually got a strong enough squad, one game a week, to have managed all those injuries. But this guy wasn't using the squad correctly. So you've got to look at that as well. It's a massive factor that people like to ignore when they
I'm not ignoring it at all. You're saying I'm ignoring something that I'm not ignoring. I recognize.
You kept saying about the experience.
I recognize Pochettino has made mistakes. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Pochettino's been perfect. I'm not even saying Pochettino's been very good. I'm saying Pochettino's been good. Now, the issue I have is
the
if I were to point fingers, it's recruitment team and Todd Bowley and the way the clubs run. It's not Poch. Because if I give this team to Pep Guardiola, maximum you'd be is 6th because of the problem, the underlying issues that I've mentioned. Pochettino, I believe, in the summer asked for experienced players. He wanted Vlahovic. He wanted experienced players. So he's already recognized, yo, this team is too young. So yes, he signed up for it, but that does not mean that he just makes all the decisions. So I doubt that he scouted the 16-year-old random guy you bought from Brazil. That wasn't Pochettino scouting him. That was the recruitment team. So all I'm saying is he asks for experience, and rightfully so. You need experienced players to help elevate this team. And the two positions Don spoke about, Guni spoke about in terms of the Chelsea need, I completely agree 100%. Those two positions and a bit of experience, and Chelsea are in a completely different state to what they're in right now. You just need to be a bit more patient.
I totally agree with the Sanchez and Jackson upgrades. I mean, Christ, they are needed big time, man. If you go and get the AC Milan goalkeeper and Victor Osimhen, people are looking at Chelsea very differently right now. They're going, okay, fair play. So it ain't like they've got to rip it up and start again at Chelsea because they've got young players that will grow. You've just got to make sure. I think Poch has to hold that a lot, to be fair, this season. I don't think Pochettino has been great, but also I've spoken to Guni about this a lot of times. I'm not so sure that just throwing a load of money at a load of kids is going to get you to a title, and that's where Chelsea should be, man. In my opinion, and that's where they have been for a while. Let's move to Arsenal-Liverpool. Obviously, it's a big game. It's the biggest game of the weekend. Still can't believe that we drew Liverpool. Last season, we drew Man City. I'm getting fed up of this now. Just like a Preston or a Rotherham would be nice. But anyway, it doesn't seem that way the last couple of years. Let's come to neutral first. Aaron, where are you at with this one, man? Arsenal-Liverpool the weekend, bro.
I think this is going to be an interesting one because both teams will probably not play their weakest team. I think this is going to be another, very good performance from both teams. Very entertaining game. The question I'm asking myself is, I know Klopp might take this very serious because I know he's eager to win silverware again. The question is, how is Arteta going to see this? Because is he going to do the same thing as last season where, he kind of thought, FA Cup, we don't want that. We want the Prem. I'm very interested in seeing how he's going to treat this one. Is he going to play?
He better not, man. I'll tell you this now, Aaron. He better not. He better treat it seriously. I'll tell you that now.
And this was gonna be my next point. Because surely if you want to win silver, if you want to forget winning silverware, if you want to install a winning mentality, you do that by winning any and everything possible. I don't care if it's a Community Shield, a FA Cup, a Carabao Cup. You go for everything. So if Arteta is trying to be, if he wants the fans to see him serious or to take him serious, you have to go for that FA Cup, man. I mean, you guys are the holders. You guys have the most FA Cups, if I'm not wrong.
14, yeah.
You should literally go for that. If I see a weakened team on Saturday or tomorrow against Liverpool, I'm gonna start looking at Arteta differently. Because as of now, I still have some sort of respect for him because of what he can do tactically. All the off the pitch stuff, that's a different story. But I still have some sort of respect for him. But if he fields a weakened team on Saturday, I'm going to look at him funny and go, you know what, Arteta, I'm starting to think you don't want to win stuff. Because right now it just looks like he wants to play pretty football and he's happy with that.
Mate, he can't even play pretty football at the moment. That's the thing. It's gone bad. It's gone really bad. It really has. The last couple of games has been a shambles, man. I can't even lie to you. Before I come to Husam, let me come to you, Guni. Arteta, man, is he under pressure, bro?
He has to be. Absolutely, he has to be. After what transpired last season, right? 93% of the Premier League season, you're top of the table, and then you don't go and win that. I think it's fair to say that the fans are owed something. And I 100% have to agree with what Aaron said. And I'm basing that on our history. The first trophy that we won that set us on the run to our dynasty at the time was called the Carling Cup. If you hear what the players said years later about winning that cup, it will link exactly to what Aaron just said. They said when they won that cup, they got their first taste of success and they never wanted to let it go. It was a springboard for them to be continually winning stuff. So 100%, I've got to agree. Arteta needs to win something. You cannot continue to be having close shaves, finishing second, getting to semi-finals, quarterfinals, or knocked out wherever it is. Because the thing is, right, number one, you're not guaranteed to have players or key players for the entirety of your career while you are manager at that club. Things can change at clubs as well. You might not be on this same trajectory next season or the season afterwards. So while you can win now, you are going to have to win now. Start that winning mentality, breed that amongst the club. Let them know what it feels like to hold silverware and let them make it become a habit. Arteta, I mean, from Christmas till now, it's unforgivable. And why it's unforgivable is against the teams that you've played where you've dropped those points. And that to me shows that not only is there an issue with the manager, perhaps there might be a slight lack of confidence within the team as well. And that needs to be fixed. And what's the best way to fix it? A good start would be beating Liverpool this weekend in the FA Cup, 100%. But Arteta definitely is under major pressure because if he finishes this season without winning the trophy, right? I don't care if he finishes 4 or 5 points off the top of the Premier League table. He has got to go. Because one thing that is not on his side is that he does not have a track record of winning consistently. And there are managers out there, if Arsenal are ambitious enough to say, well, listen, you've done X, Y, and Z in the past, you come and get us over the line, 100%. Arteta does not have that liberty. So he's definitely under pressure. He's got to start winning something now because I'm pretty sure the Arsenal fan base don't want to be that almost team. Being that almost team hurts more. Sometimes it hurts more than finishing.
Some of us, bro. Some of us do, bro. I've fallen out of a lot of fans in the last couple of weeks again. I never fall out of neutral fans. I only ever fall out of Arsenal fans, man. They're just completely...
And Guni, do you know who doesn't want to be an almost team as well, yeah? The players, yeah? They've been through this before with guys like Clichy, you know what I'm saying? Guys like Van Persie. What's going to happen now is going to be guys like Saliba going around Madrid. It'll be guys like Saka.
Exactly. That's my point. How many chances are you going to get with these with these players who have got a really high ceiling because they can also walk off the club? Because listen, Saliba right now, we could walk into a Real Madrid team and he can be winning as many trophies as he wants to win. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure there can be interest in several other of your players that want to go on and win titles because they're not going to say 21 and 22 forever. They're not. A footballer's career is very short, and they want to win as much as they can within that short span of time. So Arsenal definitely got to start getting it right, 100%.
I was thinking because like Dom was saying earlier about the Arsenal fan base and that Jesus, man, some of them are deluded. It's incredible. It's actually embarrassing to be associated with some of them. But those that are saying he's not under pressure, when is he ever going to be then? Like, let's be real. He's had 8 transfer windows, 4 years in the job, £700 million spent. Yeah, I'm not losing my head because we lost 2 games. But at the same time, the pressure will be on him. That's the question. It's not sack him now. The question is, if we lose to Liverpool and we can't get over the line against Porto, yeah, sorry, man. If you don't win me a Premier League, I'll say see you later. It is only Mikel Arteta. Yeah, it is not Mikel Arteta FC. It's Arsenal FC. So we move forward with somebody else. We go and get an Ancelotti and go to a different direction. You go and get someone who's actually got a CV that says, I win things, not I do processes and phases. This is my problem with the family. I'm so happy with a phase 4. We're only in phase 4. Look how great it is. This isn't great. I grew up on George Graham 1-0, 2-1, winning League Cups, FA Cups, and Premier Leagues. Now we're going 8th, 8th, 5th, and 2nd. It's like this process is just...
Dan, what phase are West Ham in? What phase are Aston Villa in?
What phase is Ange Postecoglou in? What phase is Emery in? What phase is Eddie Howe in? What's going on here, man? I don't get this. Like,
you know what I'm saying? And the mad part of it is, yeah, Chelsea are on the verge of potentially reaching the final. Obviously, we've got Middlesbrough. I expect us to reach that final. Anyhow, we win a trophy with these new players.
Lord.
Anyhow, we win a trophy before Arteta's Avengers and that. Oh my God. Because let's not forget, the team that Arteta won the FA Cup with was Emery's team and Wenger's team.
Yes.
He took over that team. The team that he's put together have not won anything, right? They haven't won anything. They've bottled multiple things, yeah? Top 4, Europa, you've got, what do you call it? And obviously the league, the title last season as well. So, boy, if Chelsea do end up winning the trophy this season, that's going to put even more pressure on Arteta to do something.
Well, this is why I've been saying it, man. And a lot of people have been saying I'm toxic and negative. Well, I'll tell you what, how about just win me a trophy and I don't have to be? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't even win me a trophy. It's just ridiculous, man. It really is. But Husam, speak, bro, because I know you've not got long. Speak. Arsenal, Liverpool this weekend. What's your thoughts?
I mean, first of all, Don and Guni, sorry guys, ain't gonna win a trophy because that trophy is ours right there. Liverpool on penalties, calling it right now. But anyway, with the FA Cup, I think all pressure is on Arteta, on Arsenal. I actually think there's more pressure on Arteta personally than Arsenal as an institution. Like I think Arteta probably has the most pressure on him in that whole game, to be honest with you. So that's the thing with that game. Pressure is on Arsenal. There's literally zero pressure on us. If we lose, it's not the end of the world because we're in a Carabao Cup semi-final. We're more than likely going to win the Europa League. I think the only two teams that kind of worry me are probably
I tipped you guys to go to the final as well.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Say that again.
I tipped Liverpool to go to the Europa League final.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I'm saying. The only two teams that really worry me are probably Mourinho's Roma, just because of what he's capable of, and Leverkusen. Other than that, I'd probably back us to just beat everyone. Yeah, Leverkusen are a good team. I have to give them their respect. But other than that, any other team, even the teams that dropped off the Champions League, really, they don't really worry me. Like Sevilla didn't drop off, thank God. Alhamdulillah, they did not come to the Europa League because they hear that Europa League music and they turn into like Galacticos Real Madrid. I have no idea what happens to them. So thank God they ate in that competition. That group right there, I was watching Lens versus Sevilla at the end, praying that Sevilla don't drop off. Thank God they didn't drop. But anyway, so we're in two competitions that I back us to win, to be honest with you. The Carabao Cup and the Europa League, currently in a Premier League title race, of course, sit top of the league right now. But so for us, losing this Sunday doesn't really mean as much as if Arsenal lost, because like we're obviously on I'd say on our way, maybe at a 60%, 70% chance, 75% chance probably at winning 2 trophies alongside the title race. So I think for us, it's not that big of a deal if we do lose. But Jurgen Klopp has said today that he will take it seriously in his press conference, which means he just said Emirates away is not a place I'm going to rotate. So that shows me he's going all out. He's going to go for a strong lineup. Szoboszlai is out with an injury. Mo Salah obviously has gone to AFCON. Best player in the league. Definitely be a miss. Endo, who's been playing really well last month. I think, I wasn't his biggest fan when he first walked in, but of course he's been playing really well lately, so he'll be a miss as well. But look, we'll go away to the Emirates, and I think I always have like a feeling before games. This game, because Arsenal and Liverpool, the last thing we need is a replay. A replay is exactly what's going to happen. This game stinks of a draw and then a replay at Anfield. And I was so pissed off yesterday when I found out there's replays, because I'd rather just play penalty shootout and just get it over with.
Same.
But there are replays in this fixture. I think Klopp will give Arsenal the ball. Arteta's going to have the football. He's going to have the ball. You guys do your possession thing, and we'll try hit on the counter-attack with Jota, with Nunez, with Diaz, with the pace we can have in behind. So
is that going to be the front three then, Husam?
I mean, probably I'd say maybe Jota.
Someone was saying. Or Gakpo,
yeah, listen, it could be Nunez off the bench, could be Gakpo off the bench, could be Diaz off the bench. The only guaranteed starter in the team for me is Jota, to be honest with you, because he's the guy that I fully trust in that front three. The other three have kind of let us down along the season. But yeah, I think, this game really doesn't bother me as much as it should, to be honest with you. If I were out of the Carabao Cup, then I would want us to take the FA Cup a lot more seriously. But we're in a semi against Fulham, so I back us to make it to the final, and then obviously beat whoever comes out of the other semi.
There was a worry about Jota, though, weren't there? Apparently, I heard today, because it's been raining so much, he's been seen diving in puddles. Apparently,
Dan, what's real funny? The Newcastle goalkeeper himself said that it was a penalty, and I sent this before I done the podcast on Troops' channel. I was like, listen, just before you guys embarrass yourself. Right here, because before you guys cry about diving, he literally elbowed him in the face.
Clipped him.
Sam, there was contact here, but the contact wasn't enough for him to jump the way he did. Like, come on now. Let's be
It
real.
was a delayed reaction. You have to accept that, Husam.
Have you ever been elbowed to the ankle?
Bro, he could have literally scored. He could have scored himself.
Have you ever been elbowed to the ankle? Right now, go to your friend, tell him, can you elbow me in the ankle? Maybe you feel it.
You're shameless. You're shameless. That's what you are. You know he shouldn't have gone down like that. You know it as well. You know it.
Newcastle game, I'm gonna just say this. The idea that people say we robbed the Newcastle, them scoring 2 goals is a robbery to begin with. We had 7.5 XG. If Nunez wasn't so shit, we would have won that game like 10-2, to be honest with you.
Yeah, if you don't have this, Yeah, you win by a couple
Yeah,
goals.
let's
man.
just be real. Like we dominated. We made Newcastle look like Sunderland. And I agree with Dan as well, by the way, with this whole like third round draws. Why do we draw each other in the third round? Like, can't you just give me like I don't know, Preston at home or something? Just give me Rotherham at home. Just give me an easy game. Why are you taking me to the Emirates in the third round? Let me breathe,
Crazy.
bro.
I couldn't
Like,
believe
give
it,
me an
man.
easy game, man.
Yeah, listen, I actually do think Liverpool will beat us. I do think I've said that. I just come off Troops' channel when I gave my prediction. I've gone 2-1 Liverpool. I think we're going to go out of it. I just don't know what's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do. I don't know. I just think the way we're playing at the moment ain't looking good, man. We can't score goals. The style of play thing is doing me in. Liverpool can score goals. Liverpool's attack will get at us. We have problems at left back. Doesn't matter that Salah's out. Zinchenko has got a late fitness test. Otherwise, it's Kivior. And I don't know if you guys saw him at Fulham, but that was a joke. So having to play him at left back is not going to do well for us, and Liverpool will love it. So yeah, I feel like they could nick this 2-1. Don't get me wrong, we could win the game. Of course we could. We need to bounce back. We need to win the game. I think Husam's absolutely spot on. Arsenal need to win this because I believe Liverpool will be holding silverware at the end of this season, whether it's a Carabao Cup, a Europa League or both. I have them favourites to win both of those competitions. So for me, we have to beat them. We just have to win. And it's going to be difficult for us. I'm sick and tired of seeing us, with this style of football, which is definitely draining the life out of our front four, which now everybody is telling me is rubbish. Yeah, Arsenal fans have overrated them. Yeah, Arsenal fans have said they're world class when they're not, but they ain't crap. Don't tell me that Saka's a crap player. Don't tell me that Martinelli is no good and he just can't kick a ball. Erdegaard can't create, and Jesus always doesn't score goals. Well, yeah, he does score goals, right? He doesn't score 30, but he does score goals. So this is a style of play thing, and we need to change it. And I'm looking towards the manager for some answers. And if I don't get those answers, then of course there's going to be pressure. And I don't think it's a crime to say that a manager's under pressure. Yeah. What happens when a manager leaves? Do we all cry and go, there's nobody else out there? We need a funeral. There will be another manager that comes in to Arsenal one day, whether it's in 10 years, 20 years, or 10 months. There will be another Arsenal manager. So
I might cry when Klopp leaves, to be fair.
Yeah, I bet you will, to be fair, because he's done a great job. But listen, we're going to wrap it up there, man. Before I do, Husam, what's your prediction, bro? I said 2-1 Liverpool. What are you going with?
This game smells of a 1-1 and then a replay at Anfield. It just smells of it. So, listen, we both don't want a replay, but that's exactly what's going to happen because we always get what we don't want in life. So,
yeah, man. Aaron, Guni, Don, what are you going for?
I'm thinking,
2-1 Liverpool for me.
That's what I'm thinking as well,
I'm going to
3-1 Liverpool, man. 3-1 Liverpool.
3-1 Liverpool. Okay.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to go, because I said it's going to be entertaining, I'll go for 3-2 Liverpool.
Man.
Damn.
It's the most highest goal scoring fixture apparently in Premier League history, Arsenal-Liverpool. That's what I was told.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I remember that one when Willock scored that banger, Chamberlain as well. Yeah.
Was that the 4-4?
Yeah,
4-4,
5-4, wasn't it? There was a 4-4,
actually, it was 5-5, actually. 5-5.
5-5, sorry. 5-5,
and they went to penalties. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
I remember that. Origi scored like in the last kick of the game.
4-4, the Arshavin game as well. There's so many games.
That's the game, yeah.
6-3 in the Carling Cup. Rampage has just said, remember that one with Baptista and Ali Adier? Jeez, that was mad. That was. So, yeah, we're going back now.
Julio Baptista, right? That was the guy.
Baptista and Ali Adier. Yeah, I remember that game. That was madness. Guys, we're going to wrap it up there. Absolute legends for coming on. Big up all to the chat. Make sure you do us a favor. Like and subscribe. We're over 13K now, which is amazing. So we're on to 14. So please make sure that you'll keep following all of these, man, as well. Make sure you go over to Guni at Man Knows Football. Make sure you go over to Husam at This Is Football. Make sure you go over to Greasy Don. You'll see his face on this channel a lot and on others as well. And make sure you go follow Aaron, man, who's literally putting out content all the time. So big up to all of you for coming on, man. And listen, enjoy the weekend. We'll see you next time. And as always, up the Arsenal. Later.
Get out.
Love.
Peace.